Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. We are now in the third week of January. Welcome back to my page, to my podcast, wherever you're listening to this from. In today's episode, I've been talking about this on Instagram, on Twitter. I really go off on Twitter, you guys. I feel like Twitter is just an insight into my mind because I really just post there whatever it is that pops up that I feel like people need to hear. And if you've been on those things, you've been seeing me talk about how if you are not sold on it, if you don't believe in it, who will? All right. And obviously, my focus is on relationships if you follow me on YouTube. But that's not the only thing that I talk about. This can apply to career. This can apply to your health. This can apply to anything that it is that you want to create in your life. A lot of people talk about law of assumption, and my dominant focus is on mindset. There's a lot of things that encapsulate mindset, right? We have to look at our nervous system. We have to look at our belief system. And for me, law of assumption is not just persisting in an assumption, a desired outcome. It's about who you are assuming yourself to be, what identity you're taking on. And when you really think about that and then look at how you've been responding to situations or reacting to situations, it'll give you some insight into what you really believe and how you're showing up in the world. All right, so let's get into this topic. If you're not sold on it and you don't believe in it, who will? I'm gonna go at this from the scope of relationships, you guys. I don't feel the need to obsess over what it is that I want to experience in my life. My bigger concern is, who am I actually being? Do I actually believe that I can create this result? And when it comes to relationships, something else that I've said is I don't mind if there is quote unquote competition. I want to be with somebody that is wanted. I don't mind a challenge. I don't care if you tell me no. The rejection doesn't bother me. If you have options in your life and there are a lot of people that want you, I think that's a good thing. I like that you are not easy. That's not intimidating to me. Now, am I actually the version of myself that can create the result that I desire? Am I confident? Am I grounded in myself? Am I secure with myself? Do I really believe that I can create the relationship that I desire without having to force it onto somebody? Those are good questions, okay? So when we're thinking about relationships, you guys, what is a relationship? That is a monetary involvement. That is a social life involvement. That is a long-term commitment, right? And so when it comes to when you are dealing with rejection or circumstances, challenges in a relationship, okay? The reason why I'm talking about if you're not sold on it and you don't believe in it, who will, is because you set the tone. You also create the dynamic in your relationships. How you choose to respond to something is completely your responsibility. You could have the biggest set of circumstances, negativity thrown at you. That doesn't give you a pass to react negatively. That doesn't give you a pass to feed into it. Are you going to take responsibility for other people being fucked up? No. But just because they're acting fucked up, that doesn't mean you have to stoop down to that level and continue to create a problem, right? How you respond to it is either going to escalate a problem or move it in the direction of a solution. So why was I talking about earlier, I don't really mind if somebody has a lot of options. I don't really care if they play hard to get. If I want something, I'm going to assume the version of myself that can create that result. When it comes to mindset, okay, there is a lot of power in belief, not just from the cliche statement, you need to have faith, you need to believe, okay? When we look at it from a cognitive behavioral standpoint, your beliefs are creating your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. So that's where you have to look at why am I getting triggered by this? Why do I want to react in this way? What's actually going on in my belief system, in my mindset, that is causing me to view this in a limited manner? Okay? If somebody's telling you no and that's triggering you, and you want this outcome, okay? It's like you have a really honest conversation with yourself. Look, this is what I want. The reality of the situation is there are 8 billion people here, okay? But I want this person. And I don't need to justify my want. I just want what I want. So how can I organize myself to create that outcome? You're going to need to look at what you genuinely believe. Okay? Because if your beliefs are creating your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, then stepping into a completely new belief system is going to cause you to think, feel, behave, perceive, respond to your reality in a way where you overcome this challenge. Now, don't get me wrong. When we are faced with a challenge or faced with rejection or faced with things that may seem like they're never going to change, that can be a triggering thing in and of itself. That's why nervous system regulation is really important, okay? But again, how you choose to view it, how you choose to respond to it is important. The intrusive thoughts that you're having, the worries, the doubts, the fears, the desire to manipulate or control, okay? We need to be able to remove those things from our focus and show up in a way that feels confident and can focus properly on our desired outcome and also create that without trying to force it on anybody. So in today's podcast, my challenge to you is to really look at your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors, the way you're viewing a certain situation in your life, and ask yourself, what would I need to actually believe that would cause these thoughts, feelings, or behaviors to go away? If I'm not sold on it, if I don't believe in my ability to achieve that outcome, who's going to be sold on it? Who's going to believe in me? How are they going to follow by my lead? You know, I've had situations and circumstances where people have tried to tell me, oh, I don't really want commitment. I'm not ready for a relationship. And instead of getting frustrated by it and being like, why the fuck is this happening to me? First off, that's never going to be a story you're going to hear come out of my mouth. Okay, I don't really care. I want what I want. Okay, I'm not going to allow the challenges or any sort of negative feedback to convince me that I can't have what I want. Okay, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, this keeps happening to me. Relationships are so hard. Why is this person was so into me? What changed? What changed in their feelings? Why are they saying this? I'm going to look at it and think, okay, I really want this outcome. All right. And I know all the components of the relationship are here. Obviously, we get along. Obviously, we have a good time with one another. Okay. So how am I going to respond to this that shows that I'm confident in my ability to create this relationship? Why am I getting so triggered by this? Do I actually believe that I can create a loving, consistent, and committed relationship? If I really believe that, am I going to look at what this person is saying or these circumstances as evidence that I'm not able to do that? Now, I'm not going to force myself on this person. Okay. And to me, genuine belief means you don't need to force. Okay. You could even go as far as to say, okay, no worries. We can be friends because you are so confident and knowing that you're able to create that outcome. But I want you guys to really look at the way you are viewing your life, the circumstances, the situations, and get really clear on what it is that you want and who you would need to be or identify as that can create that outcome. Okay? Again, it's your choice. You want what you want. If you really want what you want, you're going to do what you need to do to organize yourself in a fashion to create that outcome. Okay? And you're going to stop listening to what everybody has to say on the situation and decide for yourself. There is a level of persistence that goes into creating the life that you love. Now, if you followed Neville Goddard, okay, which I am not just limited to Neville Goddard, but if you followed Neville Goddard, a lot of his success stories, when it comes to creating a life that you love, he talks about assuming a self-concept or an identity of yourself, okay, an I am, and then holding a knowing on a desired outcome. And in his success stories, if you've listened to his lectures, people typically aren't like, oh yeah, this thing just perfectly showed up exactly the way that I desired it. Okay? In his success stories, people put in the mental effort to shift how they are identifying themselves, and then they hold a knowing. And if things don't look like they're going in the direction that they desire, they aren't spiraling, they aren't reacting to it, they're not feeling intimidated, they're not feeling defeated. They are remaining identified as this version of themselves and holding that knowing. So let's talk about this in terms of a relationship, okay? Let's say somebody is not giving you the commitment that you desire, okay? Everything is going good between you guys. You guys have been intimate. You've spent a lot of time together. Then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? I don't really know if I want a relationship, okay? If you are identified as somebody that gets commitment, okay, first off, you're not going to give a fuck about them saying that. But second off, you're not going to be sitting here victimizing yourself over it or waiting for this person to commit to you. You are going to be assuming that version of you. I always get commitment. Okay, so if you don't want commitment, okay, we can play this little hard to get game if you want. Okay, I already won it. That's the mindset that we're assuming. But I'm the version of myself that gets commitment. So I'm not waiting for shit. I'm not perpetuating this narrative. I'm not gossiping to my friends about it. I am not playing into this at all. I have plenty of people that I can talk to. There are tons of people approaching me. I don't have to wait for anything. I am genuinely embodying and assuming this version of myself that gets commitment. And I can hold the knowing that you're going to commit to me. I don't need to force this onto you. And think about this logically and realistically, okay? If I am not waiting for something, if I am not intimidated, if I'm not hoping that you're going to pick me, and I know I have plenty of options in my life, I am going to go entertain those because that's the identity that I'm taking on. I'm not going to be desperate for you. I'm not going to be waiting for you. I'm not going to be chasing you, which is attractive. And I am also going to be showing up in a confident way that says, I know and I believe and I am sold on that I am the person that gets commitment, right? So if I believe that and I'm sold on it, then you're going to believe in that version of me and you're going to be sold on it as well too. And that is where things turn around. You don't have to chase anything. You don't have to force anything on anybody. You need to look at who you are genuinely identified as, and if how you are responding to and organizing yourself in your reality really matches the desired outcome that you want to create in your life. You don't have to be a doormat to anybody. You don't have to wait for them. You don't have to accept less than what it is that you want. But in my approach, I don't mind a challenge. I don't give a fuck if you tell me no. That is not serving as evidence that I'm not going to be able to create what it is that I desire. But I'm also not going to sit here waiting for it. I'm going to genuinely embody and be this version of myself that gets what I want out of my life, whether it's from you or somebody else. And I know through genuinely operating that way and identifying that way that it is very attractive. I have plenty of options, just like how I want to be with somebody that has plenty of options. I'm not intimidated by that. I understand that a relationship is a long-term commitment that involves financial investment, social life investment, long-term investment. So if you want to play a little bit hard to get, go ahead, boy. Like, I'm going to get what I want and I'm not going to be desperate about it. That is very attractive. You can even hear it, but let's go a little bit deeper on if you're not sold on it, if you don't believe in it, then who else is going to be sold on it and believe in it or take by your lead? Okay, you're the one creating your life. You are responsible for your financial success, your career success, your business success, your personal life success, your relationship success. If you're not confident in your ability to create the results that you desire in your life, who the fuck is going to be confident in you? It's going to be very evident. So if you ever did coaching with me and I held beliefs like, I'm not very confident as a coach, I'm kind of insecure, I really don't know if what to say or if people are going to believe in me or be able to receive my message, it's going to be very evident in how I'm showing up. Right? You're gonna be like, wait, Dylan, what are you doing? Like, you're showing up, like, you're not making eye contact with me. You're not showing up very confident. Like, did I make the wrong choice doing coaching with you? Okay. I don't have to try to convince you who I am. How I'm showing up and how I identify myself, my beliefs are effortlessly creating that experience. So if I'm confident in my ability to create the relationship that I desire, if I'm confident with my ability to create that career success, if I'm confident with my ability to create the body of my dreams, and I hold the beliefs that are going to create the thoughts, feelings, behaviors, routines to create that as my experience, then it's going to be very evident in how I'm showing up. You don't have to force anything on anybody. And you have to really look at, okay, sometimes this can be a little bit difficult because we do need to look at ourselves. Have I been showing up as the best version of myself? Have I been accepting things in my life that are less than what I actually deserve because I have beliefs that aren't working towards me? Have I been presenting myself and showing up in a way that really embodies and shows that I'm confident with my ability to create the results that I desire in my life? And if I haven't been showing up that way, why? Because that's where your focus should be. If you are not confident in your ability to create the results that you desire in your life, you're going to find yourself spiraling. You're going to find yourself negatively attached. You're going to find yourself obsessing. You're going to find yourself defeated. And how the fuck are you going to win and create the life that you desire if you're operating in that manner? So, if you want to change this, you want to look at, how can I stabilize my nervous system? First and foremost, you need to create a general sense of stability in your life. This is where nervous system regulation is really important. There are a lot of ways that you can create general stability in your emotional mental state without having to go to therapy. There are also those options as well too. A few of my favorite are breath work, cold showers, EFT tapping. I don't really do very much of that. Exercise is another great way to stabilize your nervous system. I really enjoy float tanks. Okay. If you want to do some more hands-on approach to that, you can do somatic therapy, you can do EDMR therapy. There are a lot of different sensor motor therapy. Okay, there are a few options for what you can do in terms of nervous system regulation. But outside of that, you also need to look at, who am I identifying as? What are the beliefs that I would genuinely need to adopt and operate through that are going to create the outcome that I desire? In my approach, I don't obsess over the outcome. If I want to create a successful, happy marriage or relationship, or I want to create business success, or I want to be the healthiest version of me, I'm going to look at, what are the beliefs that I need to genuinely adopt that are going to cause me to think, feel, behave, and show up in that manner that can create that outcome. I don't need to force the outcome into being. I don't need to chase the outcome. I don't need to worry about the outcome. I am more busy becoming and being this version of myself than trying to create the outcome, because I understand through becoming and being that the outcome naturally has to materialize. Okay? You are already doing this. You're not learning to do anything differently than what you've already been doing. Have you been genuinely being, assuming, and identified with the version of yourself that can create the outcomes that you desire in your life? And if you haven't been, then are the outcomes that you have in your life making sense? Are you really confident with yourself? Do you really hold those beliefs? And if you did, would you be thinking, feeling, operating in the manner that you are genuinely operating in? Would you be waiting for text messages? Would you be chasing somebody? Would you be gossiping to your friends? Would you be wasting time during the day dwelling on the challenges in your life? Or would you be waking up, designing a day that's fucking amazing, embodying the best version of you, living your best life, and knowing that you're going to be able to create those results and trusting in your ability to do that, and allowing your mind, your body, your perception to naturally form and lead you there? Okay? A huge portion of this is learning to trust your body and your mind, really genuinely embodying and being. So again, if you're not sold on it, if you don't believe it, if you don't believe you can create that outcome, and you're not willing to organize yourself in a fashion to really do that, then do you really want what you want? Do you really want it? Okay, because I don't give a fuck about the circumstances. I don't care about the variables. I don't care about the challenges. If I want something, I'm going to set my mind to it, and I'm going to organize myself in the fashion that is going to be able to create that outcome. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says about that online, because there are a lot of people online that are spewing limiting beliefs predicated on their negative experiences, and they're not willing to look at themselves and do that internal work. They would rather say, women are shit, men are shit, look out for narcissists, look out for these behaviors. Here's the reality of the situation. If you have a stabilized nervous system and a good belief system, you are never going to allow yourself to create a dynamic with somebody where they are abusing you, taking advantage of you, or treating you in a narcissistic manner. So instead of complaining about the world and how it is, why don't we start being the change? And that starts with you. Are you really sold on your ability to create that change? And if you're not, what beliefs can you integrate today, and how can you organize yourself in a fashion to stabilize in your nervous system and hold that knowing in your ability to achieve that outcome? I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you all later. Bye.